So let's talk about exporting your covers, because Designer is great for creating the pages of your planner, but you're going to still need to use a different software for actually linking your pages together. And usually that's where most people also create the actual planner pages, like notebook lines or calendars and that sort of thing. Although you can do that in Designer if you want as well. So let's look at exporting your covers for use in your planners. So these are divided into 3 different artboards, and I'm going to show you 2 different things that you can do. So these are on transparent backgrounds right now. So let's say you are using something like PowerPoint or InDesign, Keynote, Affinity Publisher for actually building and linking your planners together. You might want to just put a background in that software and then have these lay on top of it as a transparent background image. So let's look at that first. So I'm going to export this front cover. So I'm going to go to File, Export, and I'm going to choose the PNG. And then in the area, I want to choose front cover. So that's the one I'm exporting right now. And I'm just going to let it go to my downloads. And as that works, let's go over to PowerPoint and let's use this as our building software because I know a lot of people do use this for building planners. So I'm going to start a new document, File, New, and just a blank presentation. And then over on the Design tab, I'm going to switch the slide size to a custom slide size. And I mentioned in a different video, the covers are all on A4, so I'm going to go with A4. And I want it to be in landscape mode because we're going to want to have like the front cover on this half, and then as the planner progresses it'll be like an open book, and then when we get to the end we'll have the back cover on this side, so it looks like we've flipped through the book and then closed it. So A4 paper in landscape mode, and say OK, and now we've got our document. So the next thing I'm going to do is just place a background. So on the Insert tab, I'm going to go to Insert Pictures from my device, and I already found a wooden background on Pexels, and I'm just going to insert that and then just scale it so that it covers the whole document. Okay, so now we've got the background, and then while we just have the plain background, I'm just going to duplicate this a couple of times. And so now we can insert another picture, and we're going to insert the copy of the front cover that we made. And then I can just put this into position here, just off to the right. And so this is my opening page that has the cover closed. Then I'm going to click on the second slide, and we'll go back to Designer. This time let's do the open layout. So again, File, Export, choose PNG, and the area, this is the artboard labeled Open, so I'm going to choose Open here. And then Export, and let's call it this, and this will take a moment to export. And then we will go to our second slide and just double check that it's being a bit slow. There we go. Okay, insert pictures from the device and find my open cover and insert it. And then I can also position this in the center. And then from here, you could go ahead and build your divider tabs, you could build your pages, and then do all your linking of your slides together. And then obviously I just go through the same process to put the back cover over on this other slide. All right, so that's how you would do it if you just wanted to export them as transparent PNGs and then place them in your digital planner building software as a PNG on top of a background. So let's look at just adding the background right in Designer next. All right, so the next thing you can do is you can actually place your backgrounds right in Designer, and then you could export it in whatever image format that you would like, for example, a JPEG, and then use that in your software that you build your planner pages and inserts on top of. So let's take a look at how to do that. So I'm going to put a background on this front cover, clicking on the front cover artboard to select it, and then File, Place. And then let's find that background. And then when it's loaded up, it shows me this symbol that has kind of like an arrow pointing down to a circle. And I can just click anywhere on there. And then I'm going to just cover up my artboard with it. So obviously we have a problem here. It's on the front. So that can be corrected in one of two ways. You can go over to your artboard in your layers panel. You can find that background and just grab it with your mouse and drag it down. Now when you drag layers down, it's good to kind of drag your mouse a little bit towards the left so that the layer doesn't nest under the bottom layer, because that would basically cause a fill to happen on your cover. So just as you drag down, just kind of veer towards the left with your mouse. And so that brought everything behind the cover, and now we have a cover, and we could do the same export process that we did. And let's say we wanted to do a JPEG this time. Area would still be the front cover, and then I would export. So I do want to Control Z to undo moving that background down and show you that there's another way that you can do that, and that would be with it selected, going up to the Layer menu, Arrange, and Move to the back. And that will accomplish the same thing. Now, doing it this way would be best if you had a portrait style digital planner where you are only going to have like this much showing, like a vertical layout. If you want to have a planner that's going to be like I just showed you in PowerPoint, where you've got the front cover on the right side and then it opens up, and then when you get to the end of the planner you've got the back cover on this side. So if we wanted to do that, my recommendation would be to open a new document, and let's do that. So File, New, and then I'm going to use size A4 again. Turn the resolution down since this is not for print, and then switch the orientation to landscape. And then I can create. And now on this, I can place my image. And actually, I'm just going to cancel that a moment and just show you that another way you can place an image is this little photograph looking thing in the toolbar. And that will do the same thing. I can just click that. It'll bring up my File Explorer, and I can find the image I want. And then I just click to place it. Now this placed really huge. So I'm going to go over to my width and height, which is in the transform window. And I have it linked together with this little chain link so that it will stay proportionate. And I think I can go at least down to 300. Let's try that. Yeah, that's pretty close. Okay, so that's good. The other thing you can do is just grab the handles of the image and just move it. But because it came in so big, sometimes you have to zoom out so far to find those handles that I find just using this transform menu is the easier way to do it. All right, so I'm going to click again to undo the selection, and now my background is placed. Then I can go back to the tab that has my planner, and I'm going to go to the front cover, and I'm going to make sure that everything except the background is selected. So I'm going to click on this layer and hold Shift and click on the other layer, and that gives me my clasp and my cover. And then I can Control C to copy that, or Command C if you're on a Mac. Come over back to this tab where my new document is and place it. So now it came in kind of big, and I want to show you a couple things. I've still got both selected, so I'm going to hold Shift and then kind of scale it down a little bit. Holding Shift will help it to stay proportionate. And we need it just a little smaller. And as long as both of my objects, my clasp and my cover, are selected, it's all going to scale together. So let's place it. Now we've got one other little quirk that happened. My stitching got really large in the process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this clasp and expand that and expand this again. So this curve is my stitching. And when you see when I click on this, it is showing that we've got a 6.5 stroke. And when we look at this one, that same piece is a 3.1. So I honestly cannot explain why Designer would pretty much double the stroke in the process of copying and pasting, but this is the fix if that happens to you. So I've just adjusted the stroke back down, and it's pretty visual. Designer is. You can see the stroke, the dash stroke, right up in this window here when I have that object selected in the layer menu. All right, so that will fix that. And so now I have my closed book on my background in a landscape style A4, and I can do the same thing. I can just export and choose to do that as a JPEG. And in this case, we're doing the whole document because this is all we have right now is this one layout, and go ahead and export that. So let me recap that then, and we'll go back here. So your three options are to just take the covers as is and export them as PNGs, and then put them on top of a background in whatever software you are building your inserts and linking with. The other option is you can add a background right in this document, and then just make sure that you move it to the back of the layer. And then the third option is to just open a new document with your background and then copy and paste each element onto the background. All right, so if you have any questions, do drop a comment in the drop a comment in the comments below this video, and I will see that and respond to you. All right, thanks for watching.